Same for me.
Yeah, and I found out that Jiu-Jitsu, the whole, 6, 7, 80s, did not have their own uniform. Jiu-Jitsu had no uniform.
Right.
The first company to manufacture Jiu-Jitsu gis was in early 90s, Krugens.
Krugens Kimonos, yeah.
In Rio.
I had it, yeah.
Krugen was the first one to do a specific gi.
Cut, yeah.
With a small...
more fitted.
Yeah, and then the knees, I also remember the Judo gis, we go in the knees a lot, and they make holes on the knees. And,
right away, yeah.
Yeah, and then there was too big here, too big there. So Krugen was the first one, and that was already 1991. Jiu-Jitsu had no uniform in the 80s, no uniform in the 70s. All the martial arts had their own uniform. Jiu-Jitsu was wearing Judo uniforms, okay? So Krugen was the first one, and then even Krugen started having the blue gis and in the 90s.
Yeah. Black and camouflage even.
Camouflage, yeah. Yes, exactly. The thing is, these color gis, they catch up everywhere, in Brazil too. Everybody wears those gis in Brazil now.
Yeah.
And it was the Machados. Because another thing I found out, there was one Gracie that, I think Reilson Gracie. He had academy in Brazil and was in the 80s, early 80s. And in his academy, there was the only academy I heard that had colorful gis, but he never catch up. People actually look at that and thought that was funny. It's like, oh, this is not normal. So nobody really copied him or anything.
But Chuck Norris was such a big name, and then the connection with the way the Machados did that's what made it part of the culture.
Yes. And Chuck Norris, man, he was a very cool guy. I remember some nice stuff. I used to see him on Saturdays because Saturday morning he was there training. I don't know, the other days, it was not the same days that I went, but Saturday morning he was there. Several times when the training finished, he'll tell one of the Machados, look, tell all the guys we're going to go eat. I'm inviting everybody for lunch. So many times we finish 20, 30 guys. We all go follow. Chuck had the black Mercedes with the license plate Top Kick.
Top Kick,
was it?
You remember that?
And then Higan was driving. Higan was driving the Mercedes, or Carlos. So he'll take everyone to the restaurant. So Chuck paid me lunch many times, man.
Wow.
And then right there, we saw how annoying it was to be famous. So Chuck Norris going to the restaurant, big table, eating with us all the time. People come, interrupt, and wanted to have autograph. Back then, there was no cell phone for selfies. It was autograph. So at one point, when we go for lunch, we put big guys around Chuck Norris, and we hide him in the table. So people don't see it.
Wow.
So he was talking to us, having fun. So the people from other tables didn't recognize him, come over and start interrupt him eating and having fun. So we saw that's annoying to be famous.
Yeah.
And then Chuck one day came to the Machado and said, look, I cannot drive here anymore. It's too far. I live in Tarzana. Can one of you move to Tarzana? I will open a school for you, one of you. So they talked. Jean-Jacques said, I'm moving to Tarzana.
That's how it happened.
That's how it happened. Chuck opened the school for them.
Wow.
And then a few years
because
later...
he lived in the valley.
He lived in the valley in Tarzana.
And he had a bunch of gyms out in the valley. Chuck Norris gyms.
Yeah. And that's why Jean-Jacques ended up staying there. Eventually, when he did Texas Ranger, he moved to Texas. He did
Carlos Machado. I went to visit him.
Yeah.
In the beginning, you had to walk through the set of Walker Texas Ranger to get to the his jiu-jitsu gym. It was inside the gym.
Yeah, same thing. Chuck said, I need one of you to move to Texas. Then Carlos was the one, and Chuck helped him over there to establish himself. So Chuck loves jiu-jitsu, man, and he trained early on.